Look, I'll be straight with you. I'm a junkie. If I didn't think I could tell you that, then I wouldn't even bother with the rest of my story. There's this heroin and cocaine dealer who has this little crew, and he's always throwing around cash, doing dumb shit. One day I'm over there, I'm buying my shit for the day. Suddenly they announce they're all going camping. Drug addicts seem to love to do impulsive and random shit. I love camping, especially with crazy heads, so I begged to go with. All 7 of us leave Minneapolis to the wilderness outside of Duluth. Setting up camp was about as big of a debacle as you might imagine. One couple was already fucking in their half-collapsed tent. 2 of the dudes go to get firewood and make sure nobody else is around to see us using needles and call the cops or some shit. We were being such burnouts that nobody really takes note or cares to remember that they left. 30 minutes later, only one guy comes back. "Where's the other guy?" I ask. "I don't know. He went for wood. He went to make sure we were safe to get high." I just figured he was nodding off somewhere, but 2 goddamn hours later, the other guy strolls into camp, looking very not high. I yelled to him, "Where were you?" "Oh, looking at birds," he muttered. All I could wonder is what the fuck junkie goes bird watching. Once night had fallen, the dude who came back was acting strange. He seemed generally confused by our weird activities that are actually totally normal for dope fiends. He almost seemed offended. Suddenly and awkwardly, the guy sits down on a log by the fire like he's really drunk or something. And this is weird because we're usually too worried about our fix to drink. What's not odd is druggies acting shady, so I tell myself I shouldn't worry about it. It's been almost 9 hours since we arrived, and people are getting dope sick, so it's time to get high. The dope is passed around, and everyone desperately starts cooking up. Well, between cooking and strapping up, I noticed the guy was just smelling the chunk of dope, and it looked like it disgusted him. I've seen this guy rail tons of shit. By now, everyone's done shooting up, and the guy's still sniffing that chunk. Now they're all noticing his behavior, and he's cautiously licking the dope. For those who don't know, it has an incredibly strong taste and smell of uber vinegar. The guy makes this horrible, animal gagging or hacking sound. The main dealer guy, he was already too high to give a shit. He offered to cook up and prepare a shot for him. The guy mumbles, yeah. And the needle goes in. Now you have to understand, your average junkie does enough dope in one shot to kill King Kong and his whole family. Tolerance is a bitch. Well, this guy, he starts to shake, his entire body. His eyes are popping out, and we're just staring with these dopey glazed eyes. He makes this strange, panicked, choking breathing sound, like there's a really wet towel in his throat. Blood literally popping out of his nose, incredibly dark blood. The guy starts to make intense, high-pitched, screeching scream noises, stopping to choke or cough suddenly every second or two. And these are not normal OD symptoms. A horrible, horrible stench permeates the camp, and the guy falls over backwards. Panic ensues. "Dude, you gave him too much! Fuck! Fuck!" screamed his friend. The main dealer goes to help him up, but fails. The stench increases to the point where the rest of us are retching. I hear a very distant screech from the forest, and amid the chaos, I don't even think anybody else noticed, but then we began to hear screeches from everywhere, all around us. Now the junkies are screaming inside the camp too, and the pandemonium basically can't be contained. The screeching outside the camp grows and grows, and my ears are ringing, and the stench is clogging my lungs. It's all too much to handle, and I black out. I wake up in the morning, groggy, and I'm looking around. I can still smell hints of that stench from last night. There's nobody to be seen, though, except that fucking guy, that goddamn guy, his boots sticking up from the log he fell off of. I walk over slowly to find his corpse. It's covered in blood. Looks like he's been dead for weeks. His skin is tight over his face, his eyes are sunken, and he looks like he lost 80 pounds before he died. I realize I'm covered in blood, too. There's scrapes and holes all over the ground. Some obviously animal tracks, there's human footprints, handprints, and combinations of all of them. Withdrawing and losing my mind, I steal the main dealer's car, I go home, and I never speak of it again. Until now. I've never heard a word from or about any of those people ever again. Except for one girl, who got put in a psych ward. I don't think I'll ever be visiting her, ever.